Julian, first of all, I would like for you to give a little introduction to the person sitting next to you here.
Well, this is one of the leading violists, viola soloists of our time, incredible musician and amazing artist, but I can also say my favorite human being, because Sarah happens to also be my wife. But that's not why we play together.
But then I can ask, before we talk more about what we just heard, Walton's wonderful concerto, how is it to be musicians and cohorting, living together, having different touring schedules, etc.?
I mean, it's actually great. It's not, we've been so lucky because, you know, often couples meet and, you know, one is traveling all the time. The other, the partner, if it's, the woman or the man, is at home, taking care of family or whatever. Depending, and we have made the choice when we fell in love and met, and when it was clear that we are both doing kind of the same thing, that we really want to experience life together. We do not want to be apart, living separate lives, and we are extremely grateful and lucky that that we are able to, most of the time, of course. There are times when we are both busy in different parts of the planet, but we are trying and managing quite well to travel together, and that makes a very, very big difference.
No, and I think we're quite lucky because when you have a relationship with two musicians, it's not always a given that musically it will be harmonious. So I think we're even more lucky in that respect, that we love making music together. We love talking about music. We love exploring new repertoire. We play double concertos. Sometimes I'm his soloist. We do chamber music. I mean, we really cover, I think, a wide realm of classical music.
So when you're at home, do you sometimes rehearse together, or do you have different rooms where you don't hear each other?
Oh yeah.
Is it like you have both your studio where you can operate independently?
Well, especially with his conducting, he needs absolute silence, and I'm wailing away on the viola like 8 hours a day. So we had to find a situation where he could have absolute quiet, and I have my room where I can just dig into the viola. So, yeah, but really, I mean, our days, it's fun when we're home. I mean, we're working a lot, but then we also have each other to kind of throw ideas back and forth with.
And with all my conducting scores, I mean, I've been telling Sarah that she has to finally start conducting, but she just doesn't want to do it, because the way that how much she knows about, and I'm being serious, how much she knows about scores, about the orchestra dynamics. Whenever I have no answer to a new piece that I'm studying, and to a gigantic score with like really complicated things, I go to Sarah, and she reads the scores like, I don't know where you have this from, but it's really amazing. And so it's a very mutual respect, I think, that also, I mean, we have never fought music related. If we fight, it has nothing to do with music.
It's the dishes, right?
It's normal fighting.
Yeah.
Who walks the dog?
Yeah.
Who cleans the dishes? No, but it's really like this. We are very, very lucky that we are both, I think, very curious, and we always want to learn, and we want to, it's curiosity that is driving us, and just always trying to grow. And if you have somebody to share it with, that is such a blessing.
Well, that's the other thing, like to step on stage. I mean, we've had those nights where we walk out and it's 2,000 people and we're playing together and we look at each other in the middle of the concert, just kind of, it's so cool to get to experience this, because this feeling, that's a difficult thing to explain to somebody who doesn't do it. It's difficult to explain the joy, it's difficult to explain the stress, the fear, the beauty. So to sort of go through that and then come off stage and get to give each other a hug and be like, my gosh, this is very,
That's a privilege.
it's
It
really
must
a
be.
privilege.
But we just heard Walton's wonderful viola concerto, and it was a first for me, I have to admit. And I had to sit and read a little bit yesterday, and I listened to it several times, and I was blown away. And I have to say, before we talk about Walton's, I say the first real viola concerto I heard in a concert hall was when you played Hindemith's Trauermusik here in 2018. And I was completely blown away, and Spotify can confirm that it's one of the pieces I listen to the most. So you kind of opened this dark, mysterious sound in the viola to me. And now we have come to Walton's, and tell us a little bit about who he was.
Yeah, well, he is, I guess, one of, I would say, the most well-known, respected English composers. This concerto is, it's extremely special because the viola doesn't have so much repertoire. Like you said, it's kind of the dark horse of the strings, and it's in this middle kind of awkward range where it doesn't really play high enough, it doesn't really get low enough. It's incredibly difficult to write for. So I think a lot of composers actually avoided writing for the instrument. But I have to say that Walton, I mean, he was himself a violist. And I think that he really nailed it with this piece, because he somehow captures the warmth, the sadness, the longing that you hear in the timbre of the viola so perfectly in this concerto. And I don't think this concerto is not your obvious kind of Tchaikovsky fireworks. It's extremely intimate and inward looking, and I think heartbreaking at moments. And this is, for me, what makes it so special. It's such an intimate conversation with the audience, but also with the orchestra. It's very much like, I call it a chamber music concerto. Because it's not so much me standing in the front just playing. I mean, my line is so intertwined, and this is also what makes it so difficult. That everything I play is so intertwined with the winds, with the strings, with the brass, everything's passing the whole time. But if you can do it in a way where the audience feels this conversation, it's very special. Very special music.
And I also happen to know that this composition and the first release was not completely without controversy as well.
Of course.
Can you tell a little bit about that?
Yeah, so apparently the original dedication was for a very famous violist at the time, Tertis. And this dedication did not quite go as planned. Because Tertis actually kind of rejected the concerto. He did not want to do the premiere. He said it was too modern, that it didn't make sense. I mean, looking back on it, one has to question. I mean, it is a very difficult piece on many levels. And perhaps maybe he just didn't take the time to really absorb what Walton was presenting to him. But our dear friend Hindemith, who was quite the mind, I think he immediately looked at the score and said, I'll do it.
But Tertis came around and
course.
ended up playing it several times.
Yeah. Oftentimes, especially in these days, I'm sure these big players, they were always being offered music and probably had stacks of concertos. Maybe he really just didn't take the time to, which is a lesson for us all, play through it and listen to it and imagine it. Because, yeah, I think it was very soon after Hindemith played it that he realized, oh dear, this is maybe...
That's a bummer.
This is a maybe scandalous thing to say, but I think maybe the greatest concerto written for this instrument. And I think still to this day, for me.
Julian, how is it to conduct? Because
It's
I imagine...
terrifying.
Every conductor says this.
Yeah, no, all conductors have a lot of respect in front of this piece. So it's not like, you know, to accompany a concerto. Often conductors are like, oh, that will be fine, you know, take a couple of days and, you know, for preparation. With Walton, this is a no-go.
That doesn't work.
It is so dense, it is so full of, you know, transitions, of irregular things, also rhythmically, very challenging. The voicing, as Sarah said, the texture, it's very, very dense and rich, and to find the right balance, to find the right flow.
I mean, even Walton, he did a few versions because he kept having to kind of bring down the texture because it's such a big orchestra part. I mean, it's really, I would say it's concerto for viola, but it's also concerto for orchestra.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have English horn, you have bass clarinet, you have harp, you have
The whole brass section.
the brass. I mean, it's a huge orchestration for such an intimate piece. So we really need, and I'm talking about us as conductors, we really need to take time before doing this. And yeah, I have the luxury to again ask all questions to Sarah, and yeah, we both have this, and I think this is so nice. Often people say, wife and husband, they're playing together, but I think it's actually fantastic, because if I play a concerto on the violin, how much time do I really have with the conductor? You know, you meet one day before the concert, and then you have the dress rehearsal, and that's it. C'est la vie, goodbye. See you next time. Now we have the chance to discuss for weeks and months about every single phrase, about every single detail.
Well, I was just saying that yesterday, I mean, after the first rehearsal, because it's always a shock to the orchestra when the soloist comes for the first time. Everything feels fine without the soloist, and then everything sort of breaks loose. And
I think you can say all hell breaks loose. I think that's
all
fine.
hell breaks loose. Generally, in the last few times I've done it. But it's so nice to be able to, you know, after the rehearsal, I mean, oftentimes the conductor leaves, we say we'll meet you tomorrow for the dress rehearsal, but we last night really, I mean, we sat down with the score and we just really analyzed.
Until 3 a.m. That's why I'm
Really?
like this
Every
today.
single, and it's
noticed.
amazing for me. Like, it feels so good to take that time and to really to take it seriously, because this music deserves that. It deserves the time and the care to make sure that, that everything's working.
people are now slowly starting to move back into the concert hall, and we are going to hear Beethoven's Symphony No. 7. I imagine it's not the first time you conducted it.
No.
And it won't be the last. And I was sitting preparing myself and thinking, what is there ever to say about Beethoven's Seventh that hasn't been said already? But somebody said, ask Julian and Sarah what this means to them. What's Beethoven's Seventh mean to them? So now you have a couple of minutes to say, what is Beethoven and his Seventh Symphony to you?
I mean, Beethoven's Third, Fifth and Seventh Symphony has a very, very strong connection to his, let's say, big problem he had with Napoleon. Yeah. So it's not just Eroica, but it's also number 5 and number 7. And the number 7 is a very victorious. It's the most triumphant symphony next to the 9th. It's so interesting how the odd numbers of Beethoven are like the big triumphant symphonies. If you think 3, 5, 7, 9, it's amazing coincidence. Maybe not a coincidence. But yeah, it was kind of, it's triumphant because it was written during a time when Europe was liberating itself from you know, Napoleon and...
We're talking 1812, 1813.
Yes, 1112 he was writing it, and he premiered it himself. He conducted the premiere himself on my birthday, on December 8th, 1813.
Really?
So,
well, because I have to say, then I have to come with a little anecdote here, because when I was reading about the symphony and the premiere, it said that Beethoven did something that I often see you do, and that was when he wants to express the forte, he was jumping. And Julian, you do the same thing. When you really want the orchestra to get the forte right, you jump up and down. And Beethoven did the same thing on your birthday, just a couple of years earlier.
But you know, another funny anecdote that maybe not everybody knows, because we live in Vienna, and so we laugh sometimes when we just want to get lost in paradise, let's say, and just discover all these little streets and be put back a couple of 100 years. In Vienna it's possible. In Vienna you still feel this atmosphere, this air, or the ambience, the atmosphere. I mean, you can still have those moments when you feel put back in time.
Exactly.
And it's one of the things that makes Vienna a very special place. And sometimes we go to Heiligenstadt. It's a place where, I mean, Beethoven had lots of different flats because he was thrown out practically everywhere.
Every flat.
Nobody could stand him. And, but you know, in that period, I think he lived in Heiligenstadt. He was already practically dead. And but what he did, we have this what we call Heurigen. Heurigen, it's places. It's like in Germany you have beer gardens. These are wine gardens. So you sit outside, you eat very simple food, and you drink very simple local wine.
And often, like their winery, I mean, it's right behind the restaurant. Yeah. They'll have like a little plot with their grapes. And
or you sit even in the vineyards, or surrounded by the vineyards, in the outskirts of Vienna. I mean, it's still Vienna. And so we have a lot of those places. And Beethoven very often ended his day in one of those Heurigen, drinking a little bit too much maybe. And then the streets, the first floor, let's say, the windows are very low. So
at street level, yeah.
At street level. And so he would be going back home, and he would see children in the windows, and he would like go like like this. Yeah. I mean, it has nothing to do with Beethoven 7, but you know, it's important for us. These maybe stupid stories are very important.
To remember they were human. I mean, they
exactly.
Because of course we study all of our lives. We try to get behind the notes. Beethoven, thank God, left us more information in his course than Haydn, Mozart or Schubert did, for example, right? Or Bach. But still, we need to absorb everything, and we will never know the truth because we cannot ask them how they want their music to sound. But still, these elements from their personal life is very important because there is so much humor in his music. There is so much wit. There is so much, you know, beside all the emotion and beside the incredible, untouchable,
monumental.
Yeah, monumental, the construction that he never, in a way, he was unlike Schubert. You never hear a real melody. Schubert was the king of melodies. The most glorious melodies come from Schubert, who is a genius. And we always say, my God, he's a little bit always in the shadow of Mozart and Beethoven. But Beethoven, it's all motifs, little motifs. But
then you listen to a slow movement, one of his late string quartet slow movements, or one of the symphony slow movements. And although you maybe can't say that it's a melody, I mean, was it Bernstein who made this famous comment about every note that follows is the perfect note?
And I would love to mention the slow movement, because the slow movement is marked Allegretto. I mean, this is also something that we and the whole classical music world forever will, it will remain a mystery, because it's a funeral march. And, but it's marked Allegretto. And Allegretto is something, and it's quasi like a gavotte, like a dance. But it's a funeral march. And the theme is one note. It's pam, 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 pam. Then it goes a little bit up, tim, pim, pam, 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 pam. I mean, it's unbelievable what he does. There is no melody. But what he does with it, and all the voices around it, and the contrapuncts and everything, but the theme is one note. So anyways, yeah, this slow movement is one of the most important slow movements, which is often played until today, just picked and played separately, because it's so divine.
Oh, and it's been used in movies, and it's kind of almost picked apart. But one thing that fascinates me with the second movement is that you never get tired of it. It has this, it's this unveiling layer by layer. You notice something new, although it's so simple. And I'm absolutely sure that people at home are now desperate to hear Beethoven's Seventh Symphony and to see you perform together with the orchestra. And we're so much looking forward to it. And
with my favorite orchestra.
Oh, we're so glad to hear.
I love and, all the musicians. They're incredible. And the whole team here is really incredible. It's really become a second home. Or let's say not second, a home away from home. That's it.
And we're always so glad to have you here, and that you take the time to work with us and take time to talk to us like this. And we just want to wish you the best for tonight's performance and for the Beethoven Seventh. And thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.